Hello and welcome to Typhoon Racing.
In order to bring you the latest news about offshore powerboat racing from around the globe, Race Offshore is bringing you a new series called A View from the Cockpit, featuring interviews with the teams as they prepare and work their way through the 2020 offshore racing season. For this first episode, we caught up with Randy Schleuss of Team Typhoon as he prepares for the season.
The action never stops here at Typhoon Racing, and I'm going to give you a little rundown of what our race team's all about, what we do. We're an offshore race team, and I think you're going to enjoy it. We have a lot of good stuff that we do and exciting stuff. So basically, who are we? We're a bunch of friends that got together roughly 22 years ago. We decided to build a race boat and go give it a try. I personally had never raced before in my life, and I just was so excited the first time I saw one live down in Ocean City. We decided, I came back, took my pleasure boat, took my family boat, and we completely gutted it, ripped it apart, put a race motor in the thing, and that's how I got started. And ever since then I've been hooked, and I think you'll be hooked after you see what actually goes into this and how much fun you can have in offshore racing. We don't get paid for what we do. We go out there, we have a lot of fun, we have to generate all of our own money, we have to come up with all the expenses and all the traveling, everything else. Yes, we do get a check at the end of the day if we win or place good in the thing, but to say that it covers your expenses would be a stretch. My team. Interesting thing about my team. Everyone's a volunteer. Nobody gets paid on our team. People do it because they love coming out and they love having fun. I've got a lot of friends that have been with me since the beginning that actually, from day one, they volunteer their time. They drive around the country. They spend their own money. We do have a motorhome that leaves with the boat, so it's nice to, they've got a place to drive, have a place to stay when we get to places. We can sleep in the motorhome to save some money. I'd like to give you a little tour and some ideas so that possibly you might be interested in getting involved in this sport as well. So every year, we have to come up with goals for the team. Obviously, the goal is to win the World National Championship, to go out there to be the best that we can. And every team typically has that same thing in the back of their mind. It's a lot of commitment, which means you have to be committed to run that season. There's typically once a month, sometimes 2 times a month, there's a race that we go to, typically during the summer. Downside of that is, unfortunately, most of us all have families. We miss out on a lot of birthday parties, there's weddings, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that we sacrifice to do this sport that we do. All right, enough of the downside. The good side is it's a blast. You can't have this much fun typically, and you're so spoiled at having this much fun. You're around all the people that think exactly like you. So I'm with a group of 100 people at a race site that think just like you do. And other than those 100 people, most people think you're crazy, you're out of your mind. Why would you do this? But for whatever reason, all of us have that same passion, and that's just the juice of life that just makes it so good, and I love it. Win every year, win a world championship. We tend to race every race to win the race. So we go to win every race. We don't go to come in second. We don't come third, fourth, fifth place. I mean, that's nice, but we start every race to win that race. The points are nice, and a lot of people go after the points to be smart about it. But, we just want to win it. I'd rather come in last place, broken, than come in second place and be second place on the podium. You know what? There's nothing wrong with braking when you're leading. It means you're pushing it, you were there, but your mechanical something went wrong, and it's a learning lesson. So it's all about those learning lessons. And 20 years of learning what I did wrong and what the team did wrong or whatever, it kind of adds to your chances of winning. So, you know, it's first or last. And if it's last, it's probably because we broke.
Our drive isn't working. We're stuck down. Are you telling me it's not coming up? It's not coming up. It's f***ing dead.
Part of the goals is setting the budget, setting what it's going to cost us per race to make this happen, depending on how close the races are. We race anywhere in the United States. We've had races in the Bahamas. We've had races over in Puerto Rico. So it doesn't happen that often. But when it does, you know, those are expensive races to do. Typically, we have a lot of races in Florida, up and down the East Coast, Lotto, which is Lake of the Ozarks in the middle of the country, and we go up to the Great Lakes. There's Lake St. Clair that we race up there. Beautiful place to race, and anywhere in between. Typically not a lot of races out on the West Coast, but a lot of traveling from the Mississippi over to the East Coast. Race cost, there's where it varies dramatically. If we have a Florida race and we have to get the motorhome and the rig and everything else down there, everyone's driving, a couple people fly or whatever, everyone has to pay for their own expense. We'd like to budget roughly $5,000 to $10,000 per race is about what it costs when you figure in your wear and tear. You're gonna break stuff. I can promise you're gonna break stuff, and it's gonna be expensive stuff. The trick is to stay within your budget. I wouldn't be sitting here today, and I wouldn't have had a 20-year career if I went out and bought a bigger boat that had 2 motors, more expensive stuff in it. I'm in a boat, the class called Pro Stock. Our class is a single motor. It's a spec motor. Our motors last 3 to 5 years before you have to rebuild them. We've got 1 outdrive on the boat, and therefore cost of a boat that we run in, you can get a used boat $60,000, you can get a brand new one for $200,000. So depending on what your budget is, you know, those are your expenses. Boats typically, fiberglass doesn't break. What breaks on them are mechanicals and upgrading. New technology comes along. In this type of stuff, you want to have the best of the best. So every year during the wintertime, we reassessed what we could have done better for the previous year to make the boat faster. It's called setup. You know, the setup that we do on the boat can change, and we're talking about very minimal changes, but a half a mile an hour difference in speed is insanely huge if you can pick that up. These boats are running right around 90 miles an hour, and that's fast for the horsepower that we have. They are so efficient. Now on top of that, how do I get to do that on ever-changing waters where we could be going on the same course with rough water in the front, go around a turn, crazy big swells coming in, go around the backstretch, following seas, and then come out the other turn with quartering seas. Water conditions are the great equalizer in offshore racing.
Oh God, it's gonna be hairy, right? Yeah.
Picking a propeller, checking our X dimension, and that's how far the propeller is in the water from the bottom of the boat. It's almost impossible to predict. Every lap, every foot of that race changes. It's a constant moving battle, and that's what makes it so interesting for me, is just the challenge of that constantly changing.
You gotta be real careful because we're gonna get crucified in the turns. Roger.
Setbacks for a team like us are personnel, people that have been with you for a while that can't make a race, or people that just can't, they'll tell me right up, hey, listen, I can't do the season with you or whatever. Those setbacks are really tough on a small team like us. Some setbacks this year, we got COVID-19. I mean, what the heck? All of our scheduling, all of our planning, all of our timing, all of our setup for hotel rooms that we've tried to pre-do, it set us back. And we've made commitments and canceled other things, and now all of a sudden everything changes. So nobody's fault. It is part of the game, and we'll move forward. But there's a good chance we might miss a couple races this year just because of the timing of this terrible virus. It's a bummer. Gotta live with it. So let's briefly talk about sponsors. Sponsors can be the lifeblood of any team. Very difficult to get, but when you do, boy, can things change for you. Luckily, we have a couple sponsors that sponsor our boat. TC Marine is one of them. That happens to be the shop that my driver owns. And he's got a marine business, and he volunteers a lot of time, and he helps sponsor the boat, being in the boat with me as well. You got Vontronics TV. Vontronics TV is a huge sponsor for us. As a matter of fact, they're the ones who put on all these videos and everything for you all to watch and enjoy. So thank you, Vontronics, for sponsoring us as well. We have Mercury Racing. Now, Mercury Racing doesn't really sponsor us, but they give us a lot of good quality equipment. We pay for it, and I just want to give them a little plug out there for giving us such a great product. So for most teams, getting a sponsor is difficult. Hotel sponsors seem to be the easiest ones. When we get to a race site, we can call up in advance. Most hotels want us to put our boat in front of their hotel, and in return they'll give us several hotel rooms for the weekend while we're there. And it's good for the team, so they can get some rooms to stay in. Doesn't cost anything. The hotel gets us to put our boat in front of their hotel, so they get some advertisement. And those can turn into annual returns that you can keep going back to the same people. They recognize you. Most people want to give you product sponsors. Product sponsors are nice, but a quart of oil only costs $9. So it doesn't really help. But we'll take anything we can get. Hopefully, with this new channel that you're watching, there's going to be a lot more opportunity for sponsors, because there's going to be a lot more TV time with offshore racing. So when we talk about setup and getting your boat just right for a race or whatever, you got to remember we're racing for 60 miles. If your boat is 1 mile an hour faster, that means at the end of the race, you would be a whole mile ahead of your competition. So when you see us racing, and we're coming across the start-finish line within a couple boat lengths of each other, that just gives you an idea of how closely these boats are matched up. Everyone's going to make mistakes during the race. It's just a matter of how many.
The inside. Oh, but he actually picked up a better line. Glenmurray Randy just taking too sharp, went around the turn, missed the second point of the shot.
Being a good racer, finishing races and winning races, it's not always about leading that whole race, being the first one around every single lap. You got to be the first one on the last lap at the finish line. And there's a technique to it, there's an art to it, and it takes time, it takes practice. What you're doing is you're going hunting. You're waiting for somebody else to make a mistake. You let the other guy, if he's going to make a crazy move in the first turn, let him make it. You know what? You just stay with him, and then you go hunting. And you just wait your turn, but you stay consistent the whole time. And then as the race clicks on, if you're halfway through the race and you're back in 5th place, you know you're doing something wrong. Because you're never, odds of you making that up are almost slim to none. You have to be close to the front pack. It is exhilarating, it's fun. You are completely beat up, worn out, mentally spent. It's amazing the amount of mental draining that happens within that 45-minute race. Everyone knows the old saying, you're not having fun, why do it? I don't think anyone has more fun than me. Our team, we enjoy this. We get together once a week in the summertime, and we actually have work parties. We get some pizza, we get some beers, some soda. We all come over to the shop. There could be 10 of us around here. We're cleaning, waxing, polishing, painting, changing parts, and everything else. So we have a lot of fun doing that, a lot of laughs. We have no one to prove anything to other than ourselves. The sponsors that we do have, just, they want the boat out there, they want the boat to be seen. they're not pressuring anyone to win. Pressure to win's on us. We want to win. We want to be the team that have the target on our back, team to beat. We won 8 world championships. That's a lot for 22 years that I've been racing. Raced against a lot of great teams, a lot of good people, a lot of just well put together teams. And I guess a lot of people kind of look at it and say, how is it possible that these guys over here having this much fun, kidding around all the time, have no people on payroll, can do this? So, with that being said, we're going to get into a whole bunch of that setup stuff. We're going to show you what we do. We're going to show you the propellers. We're going to show you how we measure X dimension. We're going to show you all kinds of good stuff. I think you're going to really enjoy this, and I hope to see you at some of the races this year. Let me show you a couple of trophies I've gotten, some different things, the memorable moments that I've had during my career of racing. We get articles, obviously, and just a bunch of different stuff. Over here we have a piece of my boat that broke off, and somebody found it, and she did that on the rescue boat when she found the pieces. This one's kind of interesting too. So there's a picture, and look in the background. Those are the 2 trade towers up there. This was just 2 days before the trade towers came down, and we were racing there. And here's the trophy. There's the trophy from the 9/11 race. Bittersweet. That was another memorable time. You get big trophies, you get little trophies. Doesn't, that big trophy is from second place at one of the events. And next time this could be the winning trophy. So the size of the trophy doesn't really mean that much. These trophies these 3 up here, those are 3 of my World Championship trophies that was racing with SBI down in Key West. Key West is the mother of all World Championship races, most challenging course, and very coveted for anybody in the race. That's our Daytona 500. Just a great place. Speaking of that, I race with all different organizations, so I've raced with APBA, OSS, SBI. If there's an organization you're putting out a boat race, I don't pick and choose based on organizations. I pick on wherever the races are that we want to go race. So I'm pretty much, I'm a man of many flavors.
Classes of racing in the OPA. Class 5 allows owners to compete without breaking the bank.
This is a Sportsman of the Year award that I've got at OSS. It's called the Randy Lineback Trophy. You have all the teams that are around that you're racing with all vote on somebody for the year that was recognized as the Sportsman of the Year. The person kind of stepped it up a little bit, and to receive this was such an honor. I get emotional just thinking about it because it meant so much to be representing Randy Lineback. He lost his life testing a boat in a boat race. I know his daughter Leah very well, and they created this trophy every year for Sportsman of the Year. That was kind of interesting. And as you can see, some of the pictures, I just love these kind of pictures that people take. There's nothing better than that. This boat over here in this picture, so this is that boat I was telling you about that This was my recreational family boat. So that was a Checkmate pleasure boat that we came back, gutted that whole thing, and that's a picture from Key West in '98 that we ran that boat. So that was my very first boat. We came in dead last every single race, got lapped every single race. We were horrible. And when I say horrible, we were bad. But you know what? I didn't care. I just wanted to be out there so bad. I had such a thirst to do this. That last place was A-okay with me. I was out there doing what I wanted to do. And that's when the next year, me and my driver, Glenn Murray, now there's a name that everyone knows as well too. Glenn and me, we bought our first Kryptonite boat, which was that white one that was on the other picture. And you know, we slowly started getting better and better, and probably about our third year is when it all came together. And you know, now we started winning races, and we got to be one tough team to beat, and we just gelled all together. This is remember I told you we have crew members that volunteer, that do anything? Well, this guy here, his name's Jimmy Welsh, and he's been with me, well, he's passed now, but Jimmy was with me from day one, from our very first race, and he would drive the motorhome to any race that we went to. He never missed a race. I think he missed two races probably in the 18 years he was with me. Jimmy's passed away, and he was just an incredible man. If you take a look at what his name was. Everyone loves this. His name is Trophy Bitch. And everyone goes, how do you call somebody Trophy Bitch? You know, they think it's a girl. And it's Jimmy. Jimmy got that name because every time we went to go get a trophy at a race site, we always took Jimmy up with us, and Jimmy got the trophy. And they passed it off to him, and sooner or later we said, you know, you got to get a nickname here, dude. We're going to call you the Trophy Bitch. He goes, all right, Bubba, I'm in. And from then on, he was known by everybody as the bitch. Nobody's got a trophy bitch. I got one. His real name's Jimmy Welsh.
Look at Trophy. Is that how you guys spooned last night?
And everyone loved him. We actually, there's an award at the award ceremony every year, the Jimmy Welsh Trophy, and that is given to somebody who's not a racer, but just somebody who is on a race team that has done something, you know, all season long to be not selfish, to help other teams, to help them with their ropes, help them at the dock, do whatever, because that's what Jimmy did, and that's what he was all about. And he would help anybody. So, you know, in his honor, we give the Jimmy Welsh Trophy every year at the banquet. Great guy. Like any good race team, you got to stay fit. Yeah, we do our exercise here at Typhoon. You know, everybody's got to stay fit and do their laps and their miles. 58, you don't have a body like this for no reason. I mean, this is just pure bodybuilding, getting ready for race season. Go Typhoon, go Typhoon, go Typhoon. So this is just kind of a little office tour of what we have here. This is my converted heating and air conditioning office. We also use it for Typhoon. Got Christina over here. This is my driver, Tommy Crowley's fiance, soon-to-be wife, and she's an integral part of our team. And you know, she helps do a lot of the logistics stuff. We're glad to have her with us. Go, Christine.
Thanks
over
for having me.
Over here, this is my daughter's little office over here. So been with us from day one. I have an older daughter. Her name's Morgan. Love her to death too. She's the beauty queen of the family, and she does come to some of the races, but she's not as interested as Lauren is. And I've got my beautiful wife, Christine. So got a great family, and luckily for me, I've got such a good family. They let me come do this and, you know, kind of live my dream. So thanks, guys. So this is our bus that we take to the races, and we park in the parking lot, and the crew and everybody else gets to use this. Come on inside, let me give you a little tour. This here's our motor home. This is our home away from home. So when we get to a race site and we park into the pit area, this is where we spend a lot of our time. A lot of times it's real hot outside in the summertime at the race sites that we go to, and it's really nice to have this. Just picked this one up last year, and the great thing is a lot of the guys in our class have these type of motorhomes, so that when they bring their families, we kind of all park together, our kids all play together, everybody's like one big family. So that's kind of been a recent transaction. Before, most people just come with their pickup truck, get hotel rooms, but it seems like more and more people now all have like these buses where they show up, and it's just so much better. The people enjoy it, it seems like, more because it's more of a family atmosphere. It's just so much fun. It's set up with a full kitchen. Yep. So we have a full kitchen in this RV. This whole thing slides out like another 4 feet. So we can cook, clean. Got full refrigerator, freezer in it. A used one like this, you can pick them up for $25,000. That's how we can afford to do it.
Name is Randy Schleuss. I do heating and air conditioning for a living. I don't make a ton of money doing it. You know what? You got to suck it up.
Thanks, guys. This one's kind of unique. This little Donzi's a 1973 Donzi that I completely restored with my daughter Lauren in Morgan, and so that's their boat. We appropriately named it Typhoon Light, so kind of thought that was pretty cute. It's got a 496 motor, and it probably do at least 70 miles an hour, so that's for my girls. Over here, this was a boat that I raced for many years. That's a 29-foot Kryptonite. I still race it once in a while with my brother Scott. And that's a fun boat. It's an open boat, and that one's ready to go anytime we want to go racing. So we're going to re-weld up the other trailer, and we're going to do a follow-up on this and show you guys some of the things we're doing as we're doing the repairs and the maintenance on it for the first race.
We got to get them on the straightaways because they're going to kill us in the back. I hear you.